Hi guys, this is Simon from Thomann Drum Bash. Today from the UK Drum Show, and I have the legendary Todd Sucherman here in his backstage room, actually. Thank you so much for having us. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I just played, so I'm still haven't dried off yet, but I'm having a great time here all weekend long, seeing old friends, meeting new friends. It's been really wonderful.
Amazing. That's really good to hear. I saw your performance. It was amazing. I really like the way you played with music, but also the way you play your solos. They're very musical and very orchestrative, if one can say. And so maybe let's start talking about your switch from Pearl drums to Sonor drums.
Well, I fell in love with Sonor drums when I was 10 years old, and those was the brand of drums that I played until I was 30. To be back with the drums of my youth and the drums of my heart, and now they're the drums of my future, it really is a spectacular homecoming, both with the team in Germany and the team in the United States. The drums are spectacular. I've had my studio kit and my road kit for about a year now, and it's home. There's no other way to put it. They sonically give me everything that I want to hear out of a drum. They're inspiring constantly. They feel great to the touch. The sticks rebound just a little bit more off the drums because the shells are undersized, so the heads have their own feel, which also gives it more of a rainbow of sound coming out of them. And today, over here, I played the brand new Momentum series, which is you can get it in 3 different woods: maple, birch, beech. This is a beech kit. Beech is my personal favorite. My SQ2s are heavy beech, but this is in a California burl, and I just got to play them for the first time in my segment, and they sounded absolutely magnificent. They were inspiring, and I had a timer. I kept looking down. I didn't want to stop playing them, but I had to look down. I'm like, oh, okay, I got to stop. So. Absolutely fantastic, and again, because Sonor has the undersized shell, think timpani, right? Boom, the sound and the tone and the feel that comes off the head is unique to themselves.
Okay, amazing. Well, that's good to hear. And then the setup you just used on stage is basically your go-to setup for every kind of stuff you do, or do you switch things up from time to time?
Well, with the band Styx on the road, I have 2 bass drums because I don't have to carry them.
Yeah.
So it generally makes my drum set look bigger than anyone else we might be on the bill with. No, it's just fun to have a double bass drum set. But I've spent more hours in my life behind a single bass drum set with a double pedal. I mean, I'm comfortable either way. But when we do clinics and festivals and things like that, I would never ask for 2 bass drums because this is just fine. It's easier, frankly.
Okay. And besides playing Sonor drums, you also just released a new cymbal line with Sabian, right? Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that, how that came up, what was the intention, and how they sound. Yeah.
Well, I was at the factory close to 3 years ago, and Mark Levin and Randy Ross said, "Hey, do you have any ideas about some crash cymbals?" And I said, well, since you asked, yes. So we got into a long conversation, and over time, we worked on this for a little over 2 years, I think. And the idea was, look, I have 2 musical lives. I have the life with the band on the road, and then I have my recording session life. So I will use different gear, and in the recording sessions, I tended to favor Artisan Brilliant crashes, and live, I like the AAX. So I said, what if we could combine an AAX with maybe just a touch of, I don't know, AA, something that we can get a stage cymbal that has a thin feel, so the edge is thin, a lot of power in the bow, sort of a large bell that's just explodes, and it's musical, and it's not fatiguing or annoying. A lot of stage cymbals, when you hit them, it's like a drill to the teeth, So we worked on getting a cymbal that speaks into the overheads, has presence, power. There's a big life force coming out of the cymbals, and that's the AA spotlight for the stage. Yeah. And the HHX red light is geared for the recording studio. Of course, you could use them. I did the new Styx record with the spotlight, so they work in the studio as well. But the red lights, I wanted to get cymbals that were like the artisan brilliance, but a little bit more AAX high-end glass.
Yeah.
A little sizzle on the top. So it's not all dark smoke, right? So I wanted to have like the vanilla ice cream on the chocolate cake. And that's what we did with those cymbals. And they come in 18, 19, 20, 22. And I think a lot of people are freaked out of the 22s, but when people know 22, they hit that thing and they go, that might be the one. So don't be afraid of big cymbals. You'll never go back. I guarantee it. So yeah, and to have these ideas and to have the sound team at Sabian hear my flowery language and be able to conjure from my words the symbols that was hearing in my head is, what an experience. It was amazing. So to have that and Sonor happen in the same year is just, it's an embarrassment of riches. I feel like all my birthdays came at once. Yeah, so
that's right. Yeah. So talking about the same year, what do you have in your pocket that is maybe happening still this year?
The new Styx record came out this year. A record I did by a German artist called Finally George just was released recently. Another record from a project in Switzerland called Unicorn Umbrellas that features Michael Sadler from Saga on vocals. And just this week, the second Altiforma record comes out, which is a power trio with myself, Antoine Fafard, and J.K. Harrison. They're both residents of the UK. So if you like sort of prog rock with a little bit of jazz fusion thrown in there for good measure, along with good melodies and good, thoughtful lyrics, check out Altiforma Trajectory. It comes out next week.
Sweet. Yeah. And by the way, I really enjoyed the guitar solo of the Styx song you mentioned before you played, right?
I got to say, my guys are so good. When you listen to that, I know this might be blasphemous to say, but his guitar solo on Coming Out the Other Side, that's like George Harrison at his most lyrical, and he needs more recognition from guitarists, because that is a beautiful, beautiful solo. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, really, I really enjoyed it. And Timo, he was with me listening to it. And he was like, ooh, all right. Yeah, it was really cool.
That boy's good.
Yeah,
he's good.
One question about your drum solos, basically, because I think it was a while ago when you were, I think it was a drum solo you did in a video and you released it, and I was listening to it and I was like really mind-blowing because it was a really musical thing. So when you sit down on stage and you start playing your solos, what happens in your, I don't want to say brain, but mind, basically? So because you were also switching in between different kind of styles of music, and then maybe
I try to think as little as possible, which might be obvious. I don't know, but I try to let the sounds and the music that I'm trying to make inspire me to go through another door. Now, if I start something that I've played before or some sort of theme, I know that there's certain exit doors I can go from here, from this landscape, and I can move into another landscape. And sometimes I could get pulled in at any time to a different room and explore that for a little bit. And sometimes I go, okay, this feels nice, I'll hang here for a minute. And then sometimes I go, okay, this feels a little strange. Let's say something here, and then I know how to get out of this. So for me, it's a game of when you're a kid and you have a balloon and you're like, don't let the balloon hit the ground. I'm trying to go successfully from one landscape to another and have it make sense, so that A, B, C, D, all those places lead like a story, as opposed to playing an idea, stopping that, and playing something that's completely unrelated to what I just did. So, either by use of themes or metric modulation, there are ways that you can start to compose things. But if you can come back and hint at a couple of the themes mid-solo and then come back to the main theme in the end, you're sort of presenting something like in a song form or some sort of conclusive piece of music, which to me is generally more interesting to hear than someone just, blowing chops randomly.
Okay, great. And just one very last question, if you don't mind, because we were wondering, also I was asking Nico actually about it. Do you ever, or are you planning to do a tour with Styx in Europe?
Every year I say I hope so, and it rarely seems to happen. Last time we were over here, and it was only for a handful of shows, was 2019. We're overdue. There's a lot of hurdles and obstacles, and a lot of them are financial.
Okay.
And sadly, if I had a dollar for every time I was asked that question, I'd be able to pay for the whole thing. But I'll just say that because I know we've sold records, in Germany, in England, a couple other locations that would warrant us to come here. So all I can say is I hope. I hold out hope every year, and I think that eventually we'll do it.
We'll do it. Okay.
But I don't sign the checks in my camp, so it's not up to me.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And hope to see you soon. And you guys, don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell. See you next time. Bye.